The history of sport is more a history of exclusion rather than inclusion.
Sports has been as effective in social change as anything we have in our society.
There is no reason to think that sport is a separate, distinct, unique entity unlike other social institutions. It is very much like existing social institutions, and no reason to assume that it won't continue to be so.
Sport and Society, Research Project, Marxism. The purpose of this research is to advance in our theoretical understanding of how society influences sport. Choice of topic and social theory. We decided to use the theory of Marxism because we all felt that it is an interesting subject in relation to sport and the basic theories can be applied to analyze sport and society. We wanted to find out if the theory actually works in reality. After considering different sports, we decided our research would be most effective in basketball. This seemed logical, as we had insight into the sport through Rafael, who is a basketball referee. The use of previous research. Our previous research was mostly based on two sources. FIFA, Who Rules the People's Game. This book indicates that certain groups of people have control over sport. These groups of rich and influential people shape and control football. What is more, these people also decide who can and who cannot participate in football. Also, social class in sport. This article is based on Marx's theory of classes. It explains how social class influences the choice of sport. The case study shows that class and income is a strong motivator when it comes to choosing a sport. On the one side, it shows that people participating in golf come from the upper classes and wealthy families. On the other side, people participating in basketball come from the lower class. By using previous research, we came up with two problems. Firstly, does social class still influence sport participation, or can every individual choose their own sport nowadays? Secondly, is social class determining what sport we participate in, or are we shaping our own participation? Forming the hypothesis, question. Combining both the theory of Marxism and previous researchers, we were left with the belief that our choice of sport could be determined by a group of influential people. These people who by sponsoring, promoting or limiting access decide who can and who cannot play in certain sports. Our next step was to choose the most appropriate model of research, deductive or inductive. The fact that we thought we knew the answer for our research problem, we decided to use deductive model of research, which made us test the Marxism class theory. Subsequently, we made the hypothesis that we believe that class still affects why people choose to play basketball. Choosing our methodology. Methodology is the study of different strategies used to solve research problems. This can then inform us of what selection of data collection methods we can use. As a group, we took a pragmatic view and have chosen to use a mixture of qualitative and quantitative methodology. By using a mixture, we can gain more validity in our data. Method of data collection. For the purpose of our research, we have used a questionnaire to gather our information. By using a questionnaire, we will be able to gather information from a large number of people in a short period of time. We also suggested that the questionnaire method will allow us to only obtain the information we need. As our focus is to find out about people's choice in sport in relation to household income, by asking about the household income and parents' job profile, we will be able to group our respondents into the specific classes. We hope to prove that people with high income participate in more distinctive sports than basketball. Questionnaire. To gather our data, we went on to ask people to fill out our questionnaire. Overall, we had 10 people complete our questionnaire. When conducting our questionnaires, we were sure to state why we're doing the questionnaires and that participants can withdraw at any time. Questions from the questionnaire included: do you play basketball? Do you play any other sports? Why do you play these sports? How did you first get involved with these sports? What is the job title of your parents or guardians? What is the income of both of these jobs combined? Does your parent guardian own their own home or live in a rented accommodation? Forming a method of data collection. We collected 2 samples of data from 2 different groups of sport consumers: the MK Lions basketball team and the University of Northampton rugby team. The first sample was obtained from 10 under-18 players from Milton Keynes Lions basketball club. The second sample was obtained from a group of 10 members of University of Northampton's rugby team. Conducting data analysis. First, we numbered all the questionnaires from 1 to 20. This helped in organizing the result information. We then put the data into an Excel spreadsheet and divided the project into 4 main categories: job title, income, housing status, and how they got introduced to basketball. This shows our Excel spreadsheet. Proletariat or bourgeoisie. With the first 3 categories, we decided whether a person could be classed as bourgeoisie or proletariat. For the purpose of this assignment, we cut out the middle class and used strict Marxism views. As Marx suggests, someone who comes under the bourgeoisie class owns land and are often factory owners rather than factory workers. This is why we chose the 3 categories: job title, income and housing status, as owning a house relates to Marxism's view of owning a land and therefore being a bourgeoisie. However, due to the economy of today's society and a lot of people deciding to rent a house, we also thought that we should look at the types of jobs people do and their income to decide whether they come under the proletariat class or bourgeoisie. A pie chart showing the number of people who are bourgeoisie or proletariat among a basketball team. 90% are proletariat, 10% are bourgeoisie. A pie chart showing the number of people who are bourgeoisie or proletariat among a rugby team. 70% are bourgeoisie, 30% are proletariat. A bar chart comparing the amounts of bourgeoisie and proletariat between a basketball team and a rugby team. Basketball team 90 to 10% proletariat, rugby team 70 to 30% bourgeoisie. Explaining our findings, our data shows that a majority of the basketball players were from a proletariat background compared to the rugby players who were mostly from a bourgeoisie background, suggesting that people still choose to play certain sports due to their class, providing our hypothesis that people choose to play basketball because they are from a proletariat background. Our findings back up the views of Marx's theory on class. However, during our questionnaire we found that it was harder to group people into just 2 classes due to the emergence of the middle class.